Hi, Jeanette DePatti with Broadcast Beat here at the SMPTE Technical Conference 2017. I am here with Mario Blandini, VP of Marketing from SwiftStack. Hi, Mario.
Hi, how you doing? It's awesome to be here.
Thank you. I'm doing great. So, the question we have to ask, what does SwiftStack do?
All right, well, we're from San Francisco, so don't hold that against us.
Okay, we'll try.
We're a software company, and we develop technologies that allow many industries, but in the case of media creators, we allow them to have a virtually unlimited place to put data, and they only pay for the amount of data they're storing. And you might think that's how the world works, right? But actually what you have to do is buy a ton of equipment 3 years in advance, and hopefully you use that. We're changing the model. It's a lot more like a cloud service like Amazon or Google, where you'd use that and pay for what you use, and in doing so, probably be able to produce your media faster.
So what's different between you and Amazon and Google?
There you go. Hey, so everybody knows who Amazon is, right?
Right.
We buy stuff there all the time. Everybody knows who Google is, right? Don't say, okay, Google, because then they'll pick up and try to answer our question.
Yeah, no. Okay, Google.
So those companies offer services where you can store data.
Right.
But if you store in one, there's no tools that allow you to take it from there and move it to the other one. Well, what if I'm a broadcaster, I want to have a CDN in Amazon? Well, I might have my data in Amazon, but what if I want to do some rendering in Google? I'd have to copy the data from there to over here, and it'd be a big mess to manage. Imagine this though, what if I have a single namespace, which is what our software does, and people who use it just put it there, but the people in operations decide where the data goes. So without the person an editor just says, I check it back in. When they check it back in, it automatically goes to the places where it needs to go, so the next person in line in the workflow can just start working on it.
Okay, so this leads to, I think, a discussion about public, private, and hybrid clouds.
You know it, it sure does.
Take us through it.
All right, what is private cloud? It's probably what you're doing today. You have a premises, and people say cloud or on premises. You got a premises. You're shooting a bunch of stuff, you're filling up a bunch of storage. It's really hard to move a lot of that. So you might use hybrid, for example, and we have a customer, Pac-12 Networks. They're the largest college sports networks in the country, and they shoot more actual footage than any sports network in the United States.
Wow, okay.
They had a problem when they were storing everything on site. They needed to be able to expand, but it was going to cost a lot of money. And everybody around here knows that the cameras are only getting bigger and better.
Right.
You're using more and more cameras. You've got this problem that you can pull all this data, but where are you supposed to put it? Well, one great place to put it is in the public cloud, because you don't have to pay for the electricity, you just pay a flat rate for what you're using.
Right, that CapEx to the OpEx model, right?
If that's what you're into, I'm cool. I'm speaking from a more practical perspective, which is if I have no place to put it, but I can put it there and still get my job done, and I don't have to pay for what I use, I don't have to ask for $3 million to buy me something to put it, it's an easy way to do it quickly.
Otherwise, you're with like 8,000 thumb drives going, okay.
Well, most people are using big 10 terabyte external drives, but even that, SneakerNet, it's the most popular way to move data in media and entertainment. But what if, just walk through the scenario.
Okay, wait, we're gonna go on a journey.
A journey.
Tell me your story.
I was born in San Jose, California. Oh, I mean the other story.
No, like the journey we started on.
All right.
Okay.
So, Pac-12 Networks, they have this broadcast network, and they were actually looking to expand into over-the-top broadcasting.
Okay.
Well, it turns out their little data center in San Francisco is not very good for having broadcasting around the world, because it's just a little data center. Guess who's really awesome at broadcasting? Amazon. They have the best CDN on the planet. So what they did is they used our product to then take the products, the footage they were working on, put the data as it was streaming and being finished before they did their over-the-air broadcast. It's also streaming and compiling in Amazon. So as soon as the over-the-air broadcast goes, their over-the-top providers now can pull that data from Amazon as fast as they want, anywhere in the world.
So it's
pretty cool.
It's like a virtual intern, right? That manages all of this stuff?
No, good. I'll use a technical term. It's called multi-cloud data management. Meaning,
multi-cloud, is there some kind of acronym?
No, I hate acronyms. I was in the Marine Corps, so I don't like acronyms. Okay. But think data management, we'll call it. What does your intern do? They manage the hard drives and plug them all in. We just do this on a very industrial scale that's completely automated, so you don't need to be an IT expert to make these workflows operate across multiple clouds.
Okay, this sounds very sexy. Is it expensive?
That's the cool thing.
Okay.
Typically, let's just say someone pays $1,000 a terabyte today for their on-premises storage. If you want to store that same data on premises, it's probably going to cost you $200 a terabyte on SwiftStack.
Okay.
And if you want it to be in the public cloud, you just buy whatever it costs in the public cloud, like a penny a gig per month from Amazon. And it turns out that the overall cost is lower, but now you have your data everywhere and you can collaborate, you can share, and you can make sure it's backed up. So if a meteor hits your data center, it's all there, right? Meteors, they can happen. We're in LA, where about all these very catastrophic things happen. I watched San Andreas. Oh, but that was about San Francisco. Anyway, different movie.
I got you. I got you. So it does everything the intern does, except it doesn't get you coffee for you, right?
It doesn't, but I figure there's so many mobile apps today that will deliver you coffee. We don't need to solve that.
That's true. So talk to me about, there's a lot of concern about security.
You know it.
So talk to me about your security strategy and why you might consider a hybrid cloud or even a public cloud when it seems like, man, if I put it in my closet, I'm fine. Talk to me about that.
We are not telling you to discontinue the use of your closet. You should use your closet as long as you want to use your closet.
Although you probably don't have quite as many PhDs guarding your closet.
Well, you hit it on the head. And I'm real practical, right? I'm not a media and entertainment guy. I'm an IT guy.
Right.
And if I were to think, if I were a small media producer and I had the intern protecting my data, is that intern more sophisticated in their threat elimination, threat detection, and authentication, account and control than the 10,000 engineers that work at Amazon who focus only on that? My bet's on the 10,000 engineers.
Right, especially since there's a new threat like every day, right?
You got it. And so to me, the location of your data certainly is one element of its vulnerability.
Okay.
And we know with Sony, their data got taken even though they didn't want anybody to. And so our technology will simply never make you threat resistant.
Right.
It can make you strong against threats because you can choose where to put the data based on the value of that data. So your finals of this project that's not going to be released for 18 months, keep it in a vault on a hard drive, locked away in your data center.
But you've got some kind of connective thing.
We do, and that's the whole thing.
So talk about like what state is this data in and how does it move around, right?
Okay, so the way it moves around from a technical perspective is no different than you writing it to Amazon. We write it to Amazon, except you write it to us, and on your behalf, we write it locally, we write it to Amazon, we write it anywhere you want. You set the policy. And the cool thing is that that single namespace doesn't change regardless of where the data is. So if the data happens to be in New South Wales, Australia, because that's where you have some post-production guys, but your guys in LA want to do some sound stuff, well, why wouldn't they just say, I want those sound files? Even though they're not stored locally, our system will retrieve and cache them in the LA location, so the sound guy's saying, wow, this is awesome, it's working just like I would expect, except the data's actually over there. But it's actually here too, and it's actually in the public cloud. So this gets really complicated really fast if you're trying to do it yourself. Our technology allows you to use a tool to carry that out versus having humans do it. And face it, humans suck at tagging data, they suck at backing things up, they suck at everything other than being creative. So let the creative people be creative and use tools to have the IT support you need.
Yeah, my husband's an engineer. I suck at tagging data. I suck at backing things up. This happens all the time. And the really bad thing about it is since my husband's an engineer and he taught me better, he has no sympathy for me when it goes pear-shaped. Zero sympathy. So you said you're an IT guy, but this is not just an IT product, right? Is there some special sauce in this product that is really designed for this industry? Tell me about that.
Full disclosure, we started out selling to public cloud service providers. Turns out that's a very boring market. This is exciting. There's cameras and smart people and attractive people and brilliant people.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, you resemble that comment. But what we found was people like DreamWorks, people like Pac-12 Networks, and others of our large customers, they were out looking for a tool that could do cloud data management. They weren't looking for a tool to manage media storage in their premises, and so there aren't any specifically designed for media tools like that. So they said, let me use the same tools that Amazon and Google do, and that's how they found us. We didn't want to sell them anything, but they found us and saying, hey, what if I used your product and I did this, this, and this? I say, cool, let's try it. They did it, awesome, it works. And then now we're several dozens of customers away, and one of our largest industry verticals is media, because unlike IT, media people are actually willing to suspend disbelief and open up their mind to doing something different. Try telling an engineer they have to do something different. They break out the garlic and the crosses.
Careful. There's an E on this SMPTE.
No, understood. But these engineers, I'll tell you what's different about these engineers.
Okay, tell me
These
what's
engineers support the creative people. So the creative people insist that in order to support me, you have to give me something that's fast, that's easy, that's reliable, and doesn't cost a fortune. Because they're not, that's what they need to do.
Well, and let's face it, when you're talking about industries that use data, right? Like the amount of data generated per person in this industry is
huge.
Epic, right? I mean, it was a lot before, but now with 4K and HDR and Rec 2020 and the amount of data
and
just
tripling the number
up.
of cameras to get more shots, and a director who wants every shot instantly available from every camera.
And we don't have to pay for film, so let's shoot 20 takes. Why not, right? So, I mean,
it's good for my business, by the way. Shoot as many takes as you want.
Yeah.
Hey, this is a one-take wonder, by the way, but shoot as many as you want.
Yeah, I hear you. So, what other things do you have to suggest for productions? Like, what tips do you have to help
Yeah, so the first tip I have is that if you are being financially constrained, either by the cost to do your rendering or the cost to store the results of your cameras and rendering and audio and all that, consider a different method. Everyone here that produces media uses IT technologies that were most popular between 1996 and 2010. It's currently 2017.
Get with the
What I'm just saying is that you're gonna, for some parts of your work, your deep, hardcore rendering on premises is gonna be done on the fastest hardware you can buy. Our stuff's not the fastest. It can move the most data, but it's not hyper specialized for that. Why? Because tons of companies exist that already do that. We're one of those rare companies that exists to give you additional capabilities so that for the workloads that matter, like backup and syndication, distribution, like certain parts of post-production, like collaborative workflows, we provide a tool that's easier and better to use there. So we're not saying replace your old stuff, we're just saying add this new capability, which by the way, costs you less, is easier to use, and allows you to use the cloud.
So give me a little workflow diagram now.
Great.
How is this going to work? What are the workflow scenarios that we're going to see here?
Sure. So my assumption is that data gets generated somewhere. In the case of our social media partners, people upload content, they have a lot of content. You're right, even the biggest internet properties pale in comparison to the amount of data created in a media organization. So you create the stuff.
Right.
You have to take it from the SD card or the hard drive and put it somewhere. Most people would put it on what would be considered a refrigerator, a big box full of hard drives.
On wheels.
Yes, on cases, but what if that thing on wheels was just a different architecture, stored more stuff at a lower cost, and then it made it easier to move it from wherever it is to everywhere you need it. Because once it's on that rack, now you have to wheel that rack simply in a truck to your production facility, you have to move the data, all that sort of stuff.
So you're suggesting you're just going to move this right off the production?
No, we're giving you the ability to do that if it helps your workflow.
Okay.
If you're a production company and you're not going to start working on it until the truck gets back, why use us? Send the truck back.
Right.
But if you've got people in another time zone waiting on that footage to do something with it right away, why not use us?
Okay, great. What else do you want people to know about SwiftStack? We've covered a lot of ground
We
here.
sure have. And thanks for the time. I really appreciate it. When it comes to using SwiftStack, if something costs money to evaluate, just don't consider it. Our product is 100% free to evaluate. Use as much of it. It's the full production product. Our goal is not to sell you something. Our goal is for you to, like IT people do, here's some technology, use it. If it works for you, then you can do a POC. You can get help from us. And if in the end we can help you, you get to choose to buy it. So go to SwiftStack.com, go to try it now. You can download that technology. Probably not for you, but your husband would probably dig it, right? He can download stuff. He'd be totally into it, right?
You would be amazed at how much data I make.
All right, cool.
Terabytes of data.
And is it all protected?
Yes.
Is it backed up?
Yes.
All right. The note from Broadcast Beat: protect your data and back it up, folks.
That is for real. Well, thank you so much.
It was fantastic to meet you.
Thanks
All right.
so much.
Thanks a lot.